In order for the Nubian in the Western Hemisphere to release himself from the spell that renders him deaf, dumb, and blind, the spell for Leviathan, he must understand the nature of the Evil One. The downfall of the Nubians is the fact that you refuse to acknowledge the Evil One for what he really is. You want to believe he is some spooky being dressed up in a red suit, complete with horns, tail, and hooves. This, however, is a fantasy of what the Evil One, Azazel, really is. Read the following quoted careful and see if you can gain an understanding of the nature of the Evil One for the scriptures. Genesis 3:14-15. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field, upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. The previous quote has made it perfectly clear that the Evil One has his own race, seed, and they would have an enmity between the descendants of Zakar and the race of the Evil One. The word enmity means ill will, mutual hatred, antipathy, animosity, rancor. This is a perfect description of the relationship between the Amorite and the Nubian. Two curses were placed on the Evil One. First he was cursed spiritually, Rajam, and later the physical manifestation of this curse, Lana, took place on the physical plane. Let us examine the difference between the two curses. Quran 15:34-35, Allah said, Then leave, for verily, you are an outcast. And verily, the curse shall be upon you until the day of recompense. Adam was created spiritually on the fourth plane, the realm of the Elohim, Malakut, before the creation of his physical body. He, Adam, was created superior to the Elohim in nature because he was endowed with 360 degrees of knowledge, possessing the knowledge of agreeable, benevolent, and disagreeable, malevolent. He was given will Mashiach, which is the ability to choose whether or not to abide by the commandments of El-Elo. El-Yahuwah commanded the Elohim to prostrate before Zakar. All obeyed except Iblis. Iblis was a jinn who resided in the realm of the angelic beings. He was a very high-ranking angelic being. However, through his cunning nature, he learned from Zakar about will, which caused Iblis to rebel. He refused to prostrate to the Zakar for he felt that he was superior to him, being created of smokeless fire, in the previous sun cycle where Adam was created from clay in the moon cycle. Quran 7:11-12, Then we said to the angels, Prostrate to Adam. So they prostrated, except for Iblis. He was not of those who prostrated. Allah said, What prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you? Satan said, I am better than him. You created me from fire and created him from clay. Because Nakash refused to submit to Zakar, and obey the command of Anu, the Heavenly One, the Most High, he was cast from the realm of the Elohim. Iblis's name stems from the word Balasa, which means he rebelled. It was pride that caused Iblis not to prostrate to Adam, and El-Elo cursed him until the day of the sentence Yom El-Din. The curse that Iblis received immediately was Rajam. How the Rajam curse manifests: 1. The Evil One, mental source of evil; 2. Jan, father of the jinn race and Iblis; 3. Iblis, fallen angel; 4. Jinn, evil forces places on earth; and 5. Demons, evil spirits. The Evil One is the Amorites. This is the physical curse that was to manifest itself on the physical plane. Lanat means one who is cursed. Noun. Verb, to curse, damn, execrate, to utter an oath of condemnation, criticize, to curse each other, to slander. This curse, if the curse of leprosy Baris that was placed in the house of Canaan. El-Yahuwah granted Iblis respite until the day of standing. This respite has given him the job of leading man astray and taking him off the path of righteousness. He wants to prove to El-Yahuwah that man is not perfect and that he could easily be led astray. Quran 39:14-18, Say, It is only Allah that I worship, being sincere in my devotion to him. Worship then whatever gods you want instead of him. Say, The true losers are those who will lose themselves and their families on Judgment Day. That is indeed the clearest loss. They will have layers of fire above and below them. That is what Allah warns his servants with. So fear me, O my servants. And those who shun the worship of false gods, turning to Allah alone, will have good news. So give good news to my servants, O Prophet, those who listen to what is said and follow the best of it. These are the ones rightly guided by Allah, and these are truly the people of reason. For every child born to the Nubian people, a child is born unto the race of the Evil One. There is no escaping the Evil One, for he is everywhere and this is his domain. He is ever present, causing confusion, turmoil, destruction and hatred. When I say this is his domain, I mean that this is his playground to wreak any kind of terror he wishes. Quran 63:3-6, This is because they believed and then abandoned faith. Therefore, their hearts have been sealed, so they do not comprehend. When you see them, their appearance impresses you. And when they speak, you listen to their impressive speech. But they are just like worthless planks of wood leaned against a wall. They think every cry is against them. They are the enemy, so beware of them. May Allah condemn them. How can they be deluded from the truth? When it is said to them, "Come," the messenger of Allah will pray for you to be forgiven, they turn their heads in disgust, and you see them, O Prophet, turn away in arrogance. It is the same whether you pray for their forgiveness or not, Allah will not forgive them. Surely Allah does not guide the rebellious people. The Amorite cannot do good. He is by nature an evil being. The scriptures tell us very clearly that he is a walking, talking, physical being. The following quote should make this very clear. Romans 7:14, "For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin." It should be quite clear to you now that the evil one has pulled the wool over your eyes. Through his white is right propaganda, he has led you to believe that you are an inferior race of people. Today, the evil one is racing against time to win your soul. Not only has he locked you under his spell through movies, television, magazines and various other means of advertisement, but also through music. The evil one knows that the Nubian has a spiritual and soulful love for music and that it is very much a part of our everyday lives. The black malevolent, disagreeable or evil ones are hard at work using music to destroy our young people today. Young music addicts are actually being hypnotized and brainwashed by the music they adore so much. The evil one knows that he can control the music world as long as his agents are within the A&R department, artist and repertoire, who are responsible for choosing who makes it in the music world, of the well-known companies. He cannot evaluate Latin or Nubian music because he, the evil one, has no soul. He only duplicates it. Elvis Presley, the Righteous Brothers, Rod Stewart, Lisa Stanfield, George Michaels, Michael Bolton, Michael McDonald, simply read all duplicate soul music, because they have no soul. A R&B executive who has no soul and knows nothing about brown music, can only sign artists with what is called a crossover sound, a sound they can relate to. He had to come up with something to win our souls through this means, and he did it with disco. This music was created to replace the music we made natural with our hands, that stirred the souls within our people time after time. He has you mesmerized by his spellbinding artificial music and abstract sounds that are only a replica of real music that steals the souls of our people that was stirred to life by our drums. Because of his lack of soul, he had to invert all kinds of electronic devices to make his music acceptable to the brown, Nubian, race. SABAT-U has been very successful in capturing the souls of teenagers, middle-aged people through heavy metal, punk rock, hip-hop, and rap music. Some of these victims have went as far as committing suicide in the name of SABAT-U after listening to many of these demonic albums. Why? Because excellent technique to slip hidden, and sometimes satanic messages past the programmed. This has been replaced with a more sophisticated method of subliminal control using low-frequency sound to transmit mood-altering behavior, changing sound waves. Today, the use of witchcraft and Satanism is being exposed to the public as it is used in the music world. Several groups such as KISS, Knights International Satanic Society, the Bee Gees, and the Rolling Stones, to name a few, all use Satanism in their music. Mick Jagger, the leader of the rock group the Rolling Stones, belongs to the Church for Satan, a church recognized by the Pentagon. A well-known newspaper recently did a series of articles on this group and described their entitled sympathy for the devil, which lets you know, if you listen carefully enough, that the evil one is a man. Some of the lyrics are, "Please allow me to introduce myself, I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for long years, stolen many a man's soul and faith. Pleases to meet you, hope you guess my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. As heads is tails, just call me Lucifer, cause I'm in need of some restraint. And some taste. Use all your well-learned politeness or I'll lay your soul to waste." Many rock artists sent their recording to have demons involved over them while they are being produced in the sound studio. The Amorite Samael's agent here on earth, will go to any means necessary to take your soul, and by you submitting to his way of life, you are only making his job that much easier. Wake up, Nubian man. It has been discovered, by accident, that when you play certain songs backwards, you hear different lyrics other than those of the original song. You may probably think that if you didn't hear these lyrics, it would not affect you, but the subconscious mind know the difference. Rock music is the evil one's masterpiece and he is using it to enslave his own children. Matthew 6:24, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one, and love the other, or else he will hold to the one, and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon." The Celtics race is all Caucasus, no matter whether these days they live under religious names such as Jewish, Christians, Muslims, Satanists, Wicca, Druids or Frats, Knights of Columbus, Alhambra, Masonic, Shriner, Rosicrucian, Oddfellows, Sufi orders, Knights Templar, Kabbalist, and so many others they use to shield their evil six ether practices. And now you are watching his evil world finally after the 6,000 years allotted them. They are being betrayed by their own. Their brothers see their true evil nature. They are gathering the fruit of their labors. You behold they the Kefu Canaanites, the Irish, the Polish, the Scottish, the Welsh, and all the Celtic are the true haters and their own mixed brothers the Italians, the French, the Canadians, the Spaniards, the Russians, the Persians, the Indians, the Asians. I won't say Arabs or Jews because those are not races or nationalities, they are really religious titles behind them you find hiding all other races. Yet, they are behind all world suffering, wars and hate. They came into and upon books, scrolls, tablets of Nuwapians and changed them, claimed them and deceived the whole world into war. The root of all the evils you see now and have seen over 6,000 years are those called Irish and Polish today, the true haters of all others, be they Irish Jews, Irish Catholics, Irish witches, Irish warlocks, or Irish Muslims. They make it a point to mix in with all other cultures to take over, step back outside and create division amongst them, create religions, sects, clubs, clans, secret orders, organizations, courts, police stations, prisons, jails, schools. They are the master deceivers. Look at who you see in power, look at names. Ask what is your true place of origin, not America, Britain, Canada, Australia, or South Africa. Where did your great-great-great-grandmother come from? Ireland, Europe. It's all Irish bull. They are truly cursed and hate all others. And as for you the pure black seed, he is very jealous of who and what you are and will spend millions to keep you asleep to the facts that you being the mothers and fathers of all civilizations. You are not civilized. You are the true civilizers, the gods of the planet Earth. You are who they worshipped. Yet, they hate you for it. A love-hate relationship as many children have with their parents. It takes the same amount of emotion to do both love and hate. Finally, when they gather they will receive their punishment, instead of a reward. For you see in the cloning, breeding, and grafting, they lost their souls. They have no ba, soul or ak, etheric being. They are cut off, this is their last stop. No ba soul, no ak etheric, only ka spirit or self, and are restricted in motion, stiff, bored. No true creativity, no free movement, they are rigid, no music in their souls, just noise, yelling, screaming, jumping around and playing loud noise year after year, no change, hollowing or whining from a stuffed nose, can't breathe. They suffer because they are cursed with leprosy, neurosis, neurotic. He is truly notorious. He has no afterlife. This is his end. Celtics are not limited to the Irish, which is who they are commonly identified with. The Irish people are broken up into many groups. One known group are the Celts, who are defined as Celt, self, and French Celt, singular of Celt from Latin Celte from Greek Keltoi, meaning, one of Indo-European people originally of Central Europe and spreading to Western Europe, the British Isles, and southeast to Galatia during pre-Roman times, especially a Briton or Gaul. A speaker of a modern Celtic language or descendant of such a speaker, especially modern Gael Welshman, Cornishman or Breton. The Celtic races are all Caucasus. The Caucasus comes from the physical curse of leprosy, known in their Bible as the curse of Canaan. This curse was not on Negroids as historically taught. Canaan, a Negroid was born pale, as an albino, in other words with the curse of leprosy. He married women from Caucasoid tribes in the Caucasus Mountains, creating the Caucasus. The Ashuric Syriac, Arabic, word for albino is Mhak, which is from the root word Mahaka and means albino. According to the Tabor's Encyclopedic Medical Dictionary, albino, an organism lacking normal pigmentation such as a person having abnormally pale skin, very light hair, and lacking normal eye coloring. Albinism is a hereditary condition in which an organism cannot produce pigment, color. Only individuals with two albino genes have this disorder. Albinism, Portuguese from Latin albus, white. Absence of pigment in the skin, hair and eye, partial or total. Albinism is a hereditary condition in which an organism cannot produce pigment, color, is defined as a chronic infectious disease caused by a bacillus, Mycobacterium leprae, which results in paralysis, ulceration, gangrene, and mutilation, cutting of limbs. Leprosy is also called Hansen's disease. Canaan lacked pigmentation, no color, so his skin was pale and translucent, can be seen through. Canaan's descendants had very straight, light hair as a result of leprosy. Canaan didn't have straight hair, he had woolly hair. His fourth son Amor was the father of the Amorites and his brother Jebus was father of the Jebusites. Exodus 25. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I the Lord thy God am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. The Ashuric Syriac word for leprosy is abraas and come from the root word barasa, which means leprosy, a certain disease, well known, which is a whiteness, according to the Bible. The Greek word for leprosy is lepra and means leprosy, a most offensive, annoying, dangerous, cutaneous disease, the virus of which generally pervades the whole body. It is common in Egypt and the East. The Aramaic, Hebrew, word is tsara'at and means leprosy. In people, malignant skin disease, Leviticus 13:2. When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priests. Due to the lack of protein in their body, the follicles of the hair lie crosswise and the hairs emerge in a slanting direction from the surface of the skin. In other words, it literally flops. Notice the word leprosy, which has the root word rose, is symbolic of the War of Roses, a war that occurred in Europe in 1400 AD between the House of York and the House of Lancaster. The House of York has long used a white rose as its emblem, and the House of Lancaster became identified with a red rose. The wars began in 1455 AD with the Battle of St. Albans, and ended in 1485 AD with the Battle of Bosworth Field. Because Canaan was an albino, he lacked normal eye coloring, which caused his eyes to weaken and become sensitive to direct and indirect sunlight. So Canaan took his sister wife Salah, who was a Sumerian Nubian, and sought refuge in the mountains, where the light was dim. The cold climate of the mountains was also conducive to their leprous condition because it stopped the leprosy from spreading. Canaan's descendants were the original Caucasus. Canaan had to leave from living amongst his family because he was scabby and white and everyone else was dark brown and smooth. People shunned and persecuted him. So he fled to the Caucasus Mountains. Caucasus or Caucasus Asians means deteriorating Asians. Canaan went into the mountains because cold air was more favorable to the conditions of leprosy and dim light to the albinism in him. By dwelling in the mountains amongst the Horites, they acquired the name Amorite, which literally means nation of Horites or mountain dwellers, coming from Amor, who was the fourth son of Canaan in their Bible. Quran 18:25, and they remained in their caves 300 years and they add 9. Because the blood of an albino does not contain the necessary factors for clotting and reproduction, they must receive blood transfusions first at the time of birth and then regularly through their lives. This is why they came down from the Caucasus Mountains. Quran 18:11, so we, not Sturu, sealed up on their ears, in the cave Al-Kahf a number of years. For 309 years, Canaan, his wives and their children along with their companions, dwelled in the caves practicing all sorts of vile acts, while no one knew that they even existed. They remained in the Caucasus Mountains until Ray sent Abraham to clean them up, Quran 18:12. And then rouse them so that we might see which of the two parties could best tell the length of their stay. This is why the pale Jebusites of Canaan and his wife Shingar are called Abraham their father. Canaan is mankind, by Adam's calendar. The birth of Canaan is 1700 WC, and by the Christians' calendar 4000 BC. Canaan's progeny time will expire in the year 6000 AC by Adam's calendar and also 2000 AD according to the Christians' calendar. You can count for yourself the time until the end of the reptilians, Luciferians, the evil ones, rule, which was over in the year 2000 hereafter, and you will see that it also amounts to 6000 years. Canaan of their Bible did not understand why he was being rejected by his family. He was confused about being cursed with leprosy and he was shunned and persecuted. Because of their leprous nature, the descendants of Canaan descended to the level of animals, eating raw carcasses, walking on all fours and mingling freely with the animals. Quran 18:13-14, we, not Sturu, relate to you, Muhammad, their story is a fact beyond any doubt. Surely they were youths who were faithful to their, and we, not Sturu, increased them in guidance. And we, not Sturu, strengthened their hearts, when they stood erect and said, our sustainer, who is Rab, is the sustainer of the skies and the planet Pata-Nun. We won't call any not Sturu besides him, the source, Ha-Akthar-Ah. For indeed, then we, not Sturu, should have uttered an extravagant thing. The fact that the words stood erect are being used, implies that they were on all fours like a beast or dogs before they stand up. Beast is what they are called in Jonah 3:7-9. Jonah 3:8, but let all Adamites, earthlings and behemoth, human beast, non-speaking mammals be covered with sackcloth, and cry mightily to the not Sturu. Yea, let them turn male living beings from his disagreeable state of behavior, and from the action that of his hands. The quote above says, let neither man nor beast, herd nor flock, taste anything, let them not feed nor drink water. This was a command from the heavens enjoining creatures both man and beast to fast. And both man and beast as well as herds and flock, was to refrain from eating and drinking. You must see from this second verse, but let man and beast be covered with sackcloth, and cry mightily unto God. Let them turn everyone from his evil way, and from the violence that plagues us. Yea, so that we perish not. This proclamation was addressed and mentioned only to man and beast, not the herds nor flocks, and the domestic animals. For man and beast were to put on sackcloth, and both man and beast were to cry mightily unto their sustainer. This is a very important point. For it implies that man and beast must cry unto the Most High, and that they should pray and they should dress. Another fact, there is no beast on Ptah-Nun earth that needs to dress, and no other creature in Ptah-Nun earth save man, that can speak in order to pray. The point being made is, the original Nubian was there residing besides a beast man. And we know that Jonah was sent to Nineveh, Babylon, the city of the pale race. The beasts who speak and dress are the sons of Canaan. Now reread Jonah 3:7-9 and see if they are not saying that a beast was dressed in sackcloth, the way the caveman was seen to have dressed. Animals do not fast or pray because they cannot speak. Now there are many forms of leprosy that are not openly accepted as such by the medical profession today. These forms are encountered every day and occurs among Nubians also because our ancestors are guilty of mixing with the cursed Kephu Canaanites. Among these are psoriasis, gonorrhea, syphilis, arthritis, rheumatism, seborrhea, dermatitis, dandruff, eczema, ringworms, chickenpox, impetigo, nasal disorders, bone disorders, etc., and more recently AIDS, herpes, and Lyme disease, Leviticus 13:20. And if, when the priest seeth it, behold, it be in sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy broken out of the boil.